All right, so I'm going to introduce our first speaker, a guy you've never seen before. His name is Eric Rosenberg. Little thing that you don't know about Eric is that he used to, right, own a flash mob company and do flash mobs when flash mobs were cool. They're not anymore.
Are they not still cool? No.
All right, so I'll leave you on stage with Eric. Give me a hand, applause.
So you are probably here because you do something that involves podcasts in some way. Either you're a podcaster, maybe you're an editor, maybe you work with a podcasting company. But is that podcast thing a business? Is it a hobby? Is it something you do on the side? What is it? And if you do that, maybe you have a box that looks like that one, just like a big box of receipts that has like, here, this is from when I bought that microphone, this is when I bought my mixer, this is when I bought all that stuff. But it can be so confusing, it can be such a jumbly mess. Whether you think you have a business or not, you need to track your money. FreshBooks did not put me up to this, by the way. I picked this topic before I knew they were the sponsor. But you need to track your money. You have to do your finances. And I'm going to tell you all a secret. Even if you don't think it is, your podcast is probably a business. Now, according to the IRS and me, I don't know which you consider a higher authority, you are a business if you make money. That's pretty much the only criteria. You don't have to be big, you don't have to be registered with the government, you just have to be making money. So if you make money, or any of you making money with your podcast, then you're in business. Yeah, at least a few people cheered. I hope you're making money. So if you don't register, by default, you're what's called a sole proprietorship. That means you're doing business as yourself. You can also register as a legal entity with the government. That gives you some legal protections. Like, it helps you if people try to sue you. It can help you save money on your taxes. For example, I have my business set up as an S-Corp, and I get a paycheck every single week, and any income my business earns above my paychecks, I pay a way lower tax rate. And that saves me thousands and thousands of dollars every year. And if you don't think your podcast is a business, you're not getting that savings. So we're going to turn your podcast business into the business it should be right now. I mean, maybe not right now, but later. So first, you need a bank account. You have to have, it can be under your name, it can be under the business's name, but it has to be separate from your own money. There's a few reasons. One is for tracking. One is for that legal thing. If someone tries to sue you, if your accounts are combined, they can go after your personal assets. And finally, but not least, you can get awesome credit card rewards for free flights to Podcast Movement from your business credit card. But if you want to do that, if you want to save thousands on your taxes, if you want to get business accounts, you have to do bookkeeping. It's not optional. Again, FreshBooks didn't ask me to do this. I just think it's really important, and I love it, and it's something I do in my business, and you have to do in your business. It's something I think most people can do in under an hour a month on your own. You don't need to hire a rocket scientist or an engineer to do it for you. You can hire an accountant if you want, but you don't have to. This is really basic math. Like, if you can add and subtract, you can do this. So here's a 75-second lesson on how to do accounting. One, you need a bookkeeping software. There's a bunch of them out there. There's one favorite here tonight, but just what matters is you pick one and you use it. Just pick one you're going to use. Number two, you need to have a chart of accounts. That is accounting jargon for categories. So every time you buy something or you earn income, it has to go into a category. Maybe it's travel for a conference, or conference admission tickets, or the meal you bought earlier with someone at a conference. Next, you have to keep your accounts updated. So you plug your online bookkeeping into your bank accounts. It will auto-download all of your transactions, and that way you don't have to type them in manually, because that would be really, really tedious and boring. So they get loaded in, and you just have to click a few buttons on a form like this to categorize it. That's it. I mean, that's pretty much what accountants do all day. So if you were mystified by what they do in their gray cubicles, they're really just categorizing transactions. That's what I did for a long, long time. But finally, last step, you have to reconcile. That means make sure your bank statement matches what's in your books. And that's a pretty automated system or process with most bookkeeping software. Just one click, and you say, okay, it matches. So that's it. But why do you do all these things? Because you want to make more money, right? You don't just bank for fun. We want to make more money. So I used a report that looked just like this, a profit and loss report, and looked at my own business's money about 3.5 years ago when I quit my job to go full-time. And I noticed something, if you know the 80-20 rule. I saw that literally in my products. There was a 76% and a 15%. So I cut something from my business, and my income tripled over the next 3 months to over $10,000 a month for the first time. And that only happened because I treated my business like a business, and I looked at my books, and I kept them up to date. There was no secret there. The numbers told me what I needed to know. So unlike the underpants gnomes on South Park, you can't have a big question for your business. You have to treat it like a business and be a professional. And that's what I do all day at Personal Profitability, is help people try to improve their businesses. So whatever type of podcast business you have, treat it like a business and make as much money as you can. Because if you don't treat it like a business, you might not be profitable. Thank you.